So half guard the way I like it. Alan. Where's the most people? Let's go this way. If you really want to see what I'm doing, I don't know if you can't see me from where your arm moves, so I don't have to do the Fanatics thing where I do it from 6 angles for the camera, okay? So, half guard, this is it, right? I got one leg in, one leg out. He's got one leg in, one leg out. I think the old myth is he's halfway to my back, I'm halfway to his back, he's halfway past my guard, he's halfway in my guard. Is that how you heard it? Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, so lots of ways to play it. You were probably taught to do this initially and come into some kind of position where you're here, you're blocking him, right? I don't care really what you do with your legs. I'm very lazy. I basically just put my legs here, okay? I can feel what he's doing from this position and I can adjust to it. I don't need to squeeze his leg to try and stop him from getting this leg out, because in order to do anything myself, I need to release that pressure, right? It's just like from side control. If I'm squeezing my partner and hugging him in order to do anything, the first thing I have to do is let go of my hands, and that's going to be his opportunity to move, right? So I look at this the same way. I don't really worry about squeezing and trying to stop me. I know all he needs to do is get his knee slightly above my leg, and he has the ability to pass it, right? But I can also feel any movement because this leg is over his calf, right? So as he moves, I can move as well. Okay, so I don't like tying myself up with my legs. Okay, if that's your game and you're comfortable with it and you play good with it, fine, do it. Okay. Once you get to this position, basically anything you like to do with your legs is acceptable. What's important is I don't stay flat on my back. So here's the starting position you always end up in. He's got me smashed down. I can't be here. It's beneficial to him. Regardless of what I'm doing, he has the advantage at this point, okay? I need to make sure, however I do it, I get to my side, right? When I get to my side, I like my elbow right in my partner's shoulder. I like hitting this point right here with my elbow, okay? Reason being is it gives me a pivot point to an easy underhook. And if he just tries to flatten me out, I just got this one long, solid bone here, and I could keep my distance, okay? That's good. Whereas if I got my hand here and my elbow is high, he could easily flatten my arm out and get me right back down to positions. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah. So when you get to your side position, try and get your elbow right into that shoulder. It's a good position to keep distance. I want to keep a little bit of distance here because I need to create space to move out from to get to a better position. Am I making sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got me flat. However you do it, whether I'm coming across, pushing his chin to turn his head, and coming through, I need to get that elbow into that point, right? Second thing I need to do from here is my bottom hand. I'm going to his hip, okay? So he's got me flattened out. This bottom hand, I'm going into his hip. I'm stiff arming and pushing his ass towards his heels, okay? From here, come up on top of him. It makes it harder for him to control my head. Okay? So my goal is to get to a point where I'm on my side, I'm controlling his hip, and I'm controlling his shoulder right here. So I can start to go to my underhooks or whatever it is I decide to do. Either way, if I'm going for a back sit out, whatever it is I'm trying to do. Okay? So we're going to start off. My partner's going to just flatten me out. Number one, hand to hip. Ass to heels, okay? All I'm doing is stiff arming, okay? That's going to take all of his weight towards his heels. Now from here, just cross-face me and put pressure on me. Kind of makes it hard, okay? As he's driving through and knows his hips are coming up, and it's not that hard for me to recover my leg at that point. Make sense? Okay, so my partner's going to flatten me out. First hand goes to the hip. Second hand, two options. I come across the chin, drive towards the ceiling as my elbow goes right into his shoulder, and I hip out to get to my side. Keep in this position initially, okay? You can go to the 2-on-1 from here if you like. There's lots of things you could do, but for initially I want you guys to just keep this position, okay? What did I forget? One more time. He's got me flattened out. Oh yeah, second position with this on top arm, okay? Number one, ass to heels, okay? first way you could do it is push the chin. Second way you could do it, if he's fighting with this arm, I could drive it across and drive my elbow right across his chin. Get my position, elbow back into shoulder as I'm pressing the hip. Okay? Pressing the hip from this position isn't as important because I really don't have any travel here. So I took my hips away. At this point, I can bring my hand into his biceps, so now he can't cross-face me. Okay, and if he continues to try, that's when I take my back lower exit, okay? So all I want you guys to do, I hope I didn't confuse you, because I've been talking more than I normally do. All I want you to do is start off, guy on top, flatten out the guy in the bottom, or girl, sorry. First hand goes to the hip, press the ass towards the heels, either come across the chin to create that space, get to your side, elbow into the shoulder, or if he's playing with your arm, drive your elbow across, then press out, get onto your hip, and then from there block the bicep. Okay? Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Nope.
Am I like talking too fast and being confusing? All good?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try that. Do like, one or two and then switch you off and then we'll go from there, okay? I don't clap, so let's just go. And I saw a few people that actually have to work for it, but all the work has to really be is if he turns it up on me just a little bit. So if he turns it up on me just a little bit, all I really need to do is hip more. Okay? As long as I keep the hip more. And what's he gonna do? He's probably gonna bring this knee up. Okay? Which now it changes it. Okay? But he brings that knee up. What does he do? He just took his base away, right? So the tighter he brings this knee, the less base he's going to have from that position, right? So that's going to just open up more stuff for me, right? Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so the one thing I want to address, can we slide back that way a little bit? Can everybody see me okay?
Yes.
So I know I'm doing everything on one side because I just always do everything on one side. I just want to make sure that everyone's seeing and understanding what's happening, okay? So the one thing that was brought up was a hip switch. If he hip switches on the top while I'm stiff arming him, okay? If I stiff arm his arm properly, hip switch, I'm kind of just like pushing him off me, right? Because he can't bring his hip closer to me. So if I'm here and he wants to do a hip switch, right? Go. He needs the ability to bring this hip up. I don't know if you guys can see where his hip is right now. Okay, so go back to the top position. Okay, hip switch. You see how his hip is coming higher on me? Okay, go back. Hip switch. Just by having a good lock arm in that position, it's kind of hard for him to actually do that with any kind of control. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. From like a side control position, it's easier because you got your bottom knee to bring in, right, to eliminate the arm. Does everyone know what I'm talking about when I say that? It's like if he's here, go on your back. So if we're like in this half position and he stiff arms my hip, as I do that hip switch, I could drive my bottom knee under. From this position, I don't have that luxury because his leg is blocking my bottom knee, okay? So as I do my hip switch from here, all I do is give him more space, okay? So does that make sense to everyone? So it should be even easier now to bring this out or sweep me over or whatever the hell else it is he wants to do. So if that question came up anyplace else, because I know usually if one person thinks something, other people are thinking it, that's the reason why you can't do that, okay? If you stiff arm properly, if I'm doing this properly, I'm giving myself more space and I'm just gonna follow him up and get on top, okay? Or I'm gonna come completely out. We good so far? Yeah. Okay, so now, flatten me out. So the next thing we're gonna do is, as I get to this position here, okay? I know a lot of guys like to bring this knee in. I'm not really worried about that right now. From this position, if he tries to flatten me out, his best option, because now he's just giving me this again, is to try and control my head, okay? So, as I get to my position, he's gonna try and drive that cross face, which is gonna drive me back, and he's breaking my spine posture, okay? So I'm gonna control this arm. So I got to this position, my hip hand is gonna come here, okay? All I'm doing is controlling his bicep, okay? I got, my elbow is in his shoulder, and I got both hands in his bicep, okay? From here, what's your next move? okay? So all I want you to do, take positions. Starting from this position here. I got him flattened out. He's gonna create his space. He's driving my ass to my hips, to my heels. He's bringing this hand inside. He's got his elbow on my shoulder. And now, from this position, what I would try and do is I would try and stuff and cross face, right? So he needs to block this so I can't cross face. I'm trying to play this game. He's just controlling my arm until eventually he's gonna get where he wants to get. Okay? So we're just playing a little game where the guy on top is gonna try to get the guy in the bottom back flattened out. And all I'm gonna do is control the arms. Come back out again. Start position. He gets to his position here. Okay, all I'm trying to do is control that position. I'm not turning into a full grappling match, so I'm just trying to get control again from that position. All he's doing is controlling my arm, using his legs a little bit to control my hips, right? Gotta keep my hips back. If he lets my hips come forward, keep my arm. Even if he lets my hips come forward, real easy for me to get that control again. Back in. Again. Good position. Okay? So from here, he took his hand off my hip to control my arm, right? What does he have to control my hips now? His legs. Okay? He could bring this top shield in if he wants. Okay? Of course, I don't like it. Okay? Because it's easy to get past. That's where he starts working this in. He's going to keep his control. Okay? So all we're doing is just turning it up a little bit. Okay? Come up. I'm moving this way so more people can see it. Okay? Top guy, flatten your guy out. Or girl, create your space, get your position. Once you get to this position here, I'm going to try and get my arm back, try and get him flat again. Look at the space he created just by pressing my hip initially. Look how far apart we are right now. This benefits him always. So all he needs to do is bring this knee right in. Like on my hook. All he needs to do is bring that in. And now I have another obstacle in my way. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Okay? So all he's doing is keeping his distance and keeping his space until he gets where he wants to be. So all I want you guys to do is turn it up a little bit. Guy in the bottom, keep yourself safe until you eventually get to a position you want, whether it's a butterfly, a half and half, whatever it is. Okay? Guy on top. And as you do this a couple times, go a little quicker into it. Okay, stop right there. You got that leg in, block my leg, whatever. Okay? So, top person, start trying to re-get your position a little bit quicker each time you go. Okay, don't wait till he gets to the position. Start off, wait till he gets to the position so you understand it, and then go a little bit quicker on it. Okay, I know the minute he presses my hip, I need to do something. Okay? Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, it's just being a little bit more proactive with the whole thing. Okay, so let's give it a shot. For the most part, it's like pretty simple stuff, right? Obviously, when someone comes at you full steam, it may change a little bit, but you need to understand it and then like adjust to it and play with it, right? Like everything else in jiu-jitsu. Okay, so another way to keep space and potentially set yourself up for success from this position, everybody seems to want to bring a knee in, right? I don't know why. I guess it's kind of natural to try and use your knee to bring it in and push you off or something, right? But here's the problem, which I kind of addressed a little bit already. He's got me flattened out, right? I create my space, and I come in with my knee, and he's immediately going to smash it, okay? If he's got any experience, I mean, if you do it with inexperienced people, different, right? But the more experience, the more resistance you're going to get with everything you do. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? If you watch high-level black belt competition, it kind of looks like nothing's happening half the time. But there's a lot happening, right? So if we're in this position and I come high with it, really I'm not doing much of anything from this position here to keep this knee in position. You could easily open it and peel it. I'll go over the top and just peel and just come right back to his flattening me out position. He could smash it and start tripoding out and going around me to my back or to my front or wherever he feels like going. Okay? So if you're going to play that position, here's the way I like to play it. Okay? He's got me flattened out. I create my space, and I bring my knee right to his hip. I want to go right inside the socket of his hip, okay? And just my knee. I'm not trying to go all the way across his body, because the deeper I go, the easier it is for me to smash my leg together, right? So I'm going to go right into his hip socket, and I'm going to take the leg that's on top, I'm going to put the bottom of that foot on top of my other foot. I'm just going to put a little pressure on it, okay? So I create my space, knee in the socket, top knee, bottom of the foot to the top of the opposite foot. And all I'm going to do from here is I'm putting pressure on my legs. I'm putting a little pressure inside his knee, and I'm putting pressure on his hip. Whatever you want. Okay? And I'm going to hold that position, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to do that and hold that position and just be like, but it's going to open up other stuff for me. Does that make sense to everybody? So what I want you guys to do is, again, you're going to go to that position, okay? He's going to flatten me out. I want you guys always to start from here. So whichever technique you're using to get to that position, you're practicing over and over again. Always make sure you're starting with the bottom hand in the hip, ass to heels, okay? Because that makes everything easier. Creating this little bit, this little 3 or 4 inch is of travel right here makes a world of difference, okay? It means the difference between him controlling my head and him not controlling my head. And if he's controlling my head, my movement becomes very difficult, okay? If he's got control of my head and he's driving it that way, there's no way I'm hipping out. Impossible, okay? So if he's got that control on me, now my hip out becomes really easy. Okay? So I want you guys to get to that position. Knee is right in the hip. Top foot goes to the back of the bottom foot. Pressing and pulling. Okay? That puts pressure here. Okay? It's pulling his knee towards me, pushing his hip away. Okay? And I want to hold this position, okay? From here, just for a few seconds, he's going to just try and get past this position. Okay, you see all the things that are happening when he's doing all these things? Like when you went with 2 hands there before? He's like just setting up the whole world for me. And if any of you guys were here for Helen's class, you saw the sweeps that she did, right? And this also sets them up, okay? I could have her jump in here and we could show you if you want, but for now, I want you guys to get to this position. Okay? Start from being flattened out. Press the hip. Control the head. Get to your side. Knee goes at the hip socket. Top leg. Bottom of the foot to the top of the foot. I'm pressing. I'm pushing. Putting pressure here. Putting pressure right here. And my partner's going to try and either stuff my leg, peel my leg, get past my leg for a few seconds, and then we're going to switch, okay? Does that make...
As the top person, there's a ton of pressure on my leg and my hip.
Yeah,
It's really uncomfortable.
If person on top, if you're not feeling any pressure, let the guy in the bottom know. If you're still having a hard time, then pull me over and we'll fix it, okay? Don't just be like, yeah, that's cool. Pull me over. We'll make sure it's right, okay? I want you guys to get this effective, all right? All right, let's try it. Come on up, Jamie.
Yay, Jamie.
So Jamie asked about if I go or if he goes for a lace defense on it. He grabs my arm. You guys don't see what he's doing? So he's lacing through and he's grabbing my arm. Okay? What he's doing is basically taking his arm away from me. Okay? So he goes to this position. What did he do? This whole side of his body is trapped right now. Right? So all I really need to do at this point is take my free arm, because I got one, he don't anymore. Right? Shoot through. Now my inside leg is coming through. I'm just bringing him right over. Okay? So that's what we're going to add to this. Okay? And I'm in a good position right now because I got control here. Just do a quick hip switch, pass through, and start whatever it is I want to do from that position. Okay? So, one more time. Did anybody else encounter anything like this? Or no? Yeah. You guys are like an easy group, man. You got what you were saying?
I got weaved and think sweet. Stuff fighting levers.
Yeah. So, if he's weaving, extending my hips is going to do a lot for it. He did come up with the proper answer. Okay? Smart guy right here. I'm not going to tell you guys what it was because he'll use it against me, but... So come here one more time. Actually, we will show you at the end. So he comes to this weave right here. Immediately, I'm just going to shoot under, kick my leg through, and just bring him over. Okay, guys? How do you sweep somebody? Take away 2 posts and go to the side. Take away 1 post, change the angle, or rotate, right? He just gave me 1 of his posts. I got the other one. Okay? He's tying up both of his hands with my hand. Free hand goes under like I'm doing a helicopter sweep. Okay, shoot deep. Inside leg. Shoot deep. Follow through. And whatever. Okay, I don't really care how you finish it. He tied up his hands. Go deep for like as if you're gonna do a helicopter. Kick your leg through and bring your partner over and finish the sweep. Questions?
When you say he tied up his hands, it's just what he did. You're not holding his hand.
He did it.
there.
Doing it
Go,
myself.
go to the bottom. So he's got both of his hands are free right now, right? He came through and fed, or this fed, I'm sorry. He came through and fed, and he had a 2-on-1 here, okay? Even if he has his hand still, I don't really care, but he tied them both up. Now, there's nothing to stop me from going over, okay? Make sense? Use another hand raise someplace.
I was going to ask a similar question. What if he releases his hand? Can he post?
Well, the post hand, he can't release. He can't release that inside hand anymore. Okay, he grabbed my hand. I got it with my hand now, because the minute he grabs my hand, let's just go up for a second. The minute he grabs my hand, I'm grabbing his hand.
Okay. So you're
Okay? So now he can't get that hand back. Between it being laced in my legs and now, even though this isn't the greatest grip, all I need is a second. Okay, and I just hold this pretty good, right? Okay, so the minute that lace comes through, he's grabbing and grabbing, I'm just grabbing back. And now I'm shooting my deep, my deep for my helicopter, my arm through. And I'm just kicking my inside leg deep to even further block that leg as I go through. So as I kick my inside leg through, I'm here, I'll just posture up for a second. As I come through, I'm now kicking this deeper and coming up to help assist me. Okay? I guess most people call it like a John Wayne sweep or something like that.
Yeah.
I call it an inside out sweep with my legs going from the inside out, and it just makes sense where if you say John Wayne sweep, I'm like, well, he a horse? I don't know where that name came from, I really don't. But, so, does that make sense, everyone? Well, I give it a shot a couple times, and I'll show you how he completely shut me down and passed me. I'll have him show you, because he did it to me, so. All right, guys, let's try it. If you can't grab my hand back, right? So I told you guys, when you get to this position, as I come here, just use your hand and just grab my hand, right? So that's going to prevent me from getting this out. He said if you can't grab it, what should he do? Just go anyway, right? Because now by the time I get my hand out, it's kind of too late. And if I do get my hand out, well, just bring this knee right back in and go right back to where we started the entire class. Okay? Now, real quick, thank you, dude. Jamie's going to show you how to do this, but you're not allowed to practice it. He's just going to show you real quick. Okay? So, we're here. He does his, I do my position. I come here, okay? Now he's going to go. That's your counter, that whole thing, okay? But you never saw that happen. Can we take a picture real quick?
Yes.
We're out of time. Let's take a picture. Thanks, guys.